Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. In art, the same is true. So, should we value art based on how beautiful we find it? Well, beauty is subjective, and the good news about art is that it is not defined by how beautiful one finds it. It is defined by whether or not it makes someone feel something, it allows someone to interpret something, or it allows someone to think something. Art is a representation of one's imagination and creativity. Art is created by individual humans or by a collective group. There are several mediums to art. There's visual art, there's music, there's gardening and landscaping, culinary art, literature, and more. Non-art is not created, and non-art does not leave room for interpretation. Examples of non-art would be political propaganda. Political propaganda does not allow one to think, feel, or interpret. It pushes an agenda. This then prompts the question: when Shostakovich was demanded by the Soviet government to write his Fifth Symphony, does that constitute art? Some would say no, he was forced. Some would say yes, he still put forth effort, he still wrote and composed. And some would say that the anger conveyed in his music was what makes it art. So art is inspiring and inspired by something. Non-art brings forth a lack of inspiration. Another question to answer is, how is seeing art in person different from experiencing it in a book or online? To me, part of the joy of seeing art is experiencing others' reactions and interpretations. When spectating others' reactions to art, you gain many more insights than you would be able to gain if it were only you. Because others' reactions will differ from yours. Others' biases will differ from yours, and you can learn from what they take from their experience with art. Also, in a book, you don't get the pleasure of the senses other than sight. The fragrance of the roses near the thinker at the Rodin Gardens were unforgettable. That scent, I will not forget the fragrance of those roses. And the ornate rooms in which the art is displayed, as well as the staircases, the frames of the pieces, those things you can't experience in a book. Another question to conquer is, what do I think about people risking their lives for some of the art that we witnessed? I wrestled with this question. Is art, which is a means by which we tell stories, worth risking one's life, which has many stories to tell? If, in the book Thief, there are many young people who risk their lives for access to stories, books. What I think is that everyone has their own convictions. Mine could never be such, I don't believe, to risk my life and bravery for art. But if it were the convictions of these brave individuals who sacrificed their lives or put them on the line in order that this art may be preserved, then more power to them. I suppose they must care a great deal. Some moments that I experienced wonder on the trip. One was seeing my friends experience live symphony orchestra for the first time. That's so baffling to me, who has experienced it countless times as a performer and a spectator. When I showed my friend Mahler's intention behind his symphony that we saw together, it brought her to tears. And that's beautiful. So that was an awe-striking moment, to just see someone moved by music that has moved me for so long. A second moment was when we made it to the top of the staircase before the Sacre Coeur Basilica. Something that I thought about later was that it was a lot of effort to climb all the stairs and make our way to the very top of the Sacre Coeur. And it just is a beautiful reminder that to know the heart of Jesus, which the Sacre Coeur is the Sacred Heart of Jesus, it takes effort, and it takes climbing some stairs, and it takes time. And so that's a beautiful reminder for me as a follower of Jesus. And one last moment of wonder is a piece of art. Where? I don't remember. The artist? I don't remember. But we were strolling about many pieces of visual art, and one that stuck out to me was just a cabin in the woods. It was snowing, it was dark outside, but the warm yellow hues coming from that cabin just felt like home. It made me feel cozy and safe amidst the winter storm. It made me long for home and to feel safe, protected, and warm. How do I think that this trip and the experiences that I had will affect me and my future self, and why? Well, I'm taking from this trip a more holistic and full understanding of the history of civilization and European influence on American customs, culture, and economics. For some reason, on this trip, I have been thinking a lot about the immense privileges that I have as an American citizen. Just have experienced a renewed appreciation. And I think that something I will take with me is less worrying about how I will make a living and more pondering and considering how I can meaningfully contribute to society. And just more gratitude for the setup that I have to be a productive citizen. I'm so thankful. One more thing that I've taken from this trip is something that I knew before but was confirmed for me, and that is that I don't think I could be happy or at peace living the city life. I really do believe that I truly find meaning in simplicity and routine. And while I admire and appreciate the artists who come to these big metropolitan areas in search of inspiration and just with a whole lot of ambition, I don't think that could be me. I love the mundane and the simple. So I will find my purpose and inspiration in a more settled, stable lifestyle, I believe. So overall, this trip has changed me, challenged me, and certainly brought a lot to mind that hadn't been on my mind before. I'm thankful for it and all the experiences. Thanks.